picking me apart as well.
Yeah, you always get more likes if you've got a dog.
And have a bit of dribble as well. Okay, hi Dave.
Hi Claudia, how are you?
How are you today?
I'm good.
Good? Okay, so you are a legend in your field for many, many people. You've helped loads of people from all realms of life, all ages, to build confidence. You've inspired them with their mindset to become athletes, to get strong bodies, and to do, more importantly, to do things that they probably never thought that they could do.
Yeah.
So this is known as like a hardcore gym.
Yeah.
But it's also known as the Genesis family because it's a very everyone helps each other.
The sort of thing we try and build here is the atmosphere in Genesis is good. More people that come here more often than not have trained before. The ones that haven't soon learn. The thing is with a gym like this, people are more interested in doing what they're doing. When you go to a lot of fitness gyms, people are more interested in looking at each other, taking photographs, looking at themselves all the time. And often there's no shouting. Here it's quite competitive, so you see it's competitive, but it's a friendly competition. You see what other people are doing. Bodybuilders train alongside strongmen who train alongside powerlifters.
So if you are a beginner, are you welcoming to them?
Yeah, I love getting beginners in. I love training beginners because they have the first couple of years of training. You have such a meteoric rise if you train properly, and the enthusiasm. They always want to train 7 days a week.
Or how often would you recommend, to lift weights? How many days a week?
I would say for a beginner, 3 to 4 times at the most.
At the most?
Really, yeah.
Yeah. Is that because, why is that?
Well, it's because they're going to be sore a lot more.
Yeah.
People can sort of overtrain or just do too much they don't need to do too often. And also getting bored. When someone decides to do a gym program and they want to train 7 days a week, they might do that for a month and they'll look at themselves in the mirror and think, oh, I've trained for 31 days this month. That doesn't look much different. But you're not, you've walked around in that body for 20, 30, 40 years. Month is not going to make a lot of difference. 4 times a week over 3 months, over 6 months and over a year is going to make a difference.
Do you feel that training more often would degenerate the muscle, so it's counterproductive?
No, especially not when you're a beginner. You don't lift such heavy weights. Your body is quite new and fresh to it, so you can do a lot of work. It's only when you start reaching, not your genetic potential necessarily, but when you're starting to push quite heavy, that you may need to take a longer break opposed to training more often, or you may need to grade your training so that, say on a Monday you're doing something that's sort of reasonably heavy between 1 and 6 reps, and then 3 or 4 days later you might be doing a speed session or a lighter volume session on the same type of exercise. That tends to work quite well for a lot of people.
So obviously you've trained for years and years.
Yep.
You've had some records. Can you give me a little bit of background about you, please?
I started training at 13. Found a set of weights in a cupboard at school, and a few of us trained, and I just loved it. I love training. So I found a local gym. But I say local, I lived in a little village, and it was 8 miles away. And I used to, 13, 14, I used to run or cycle there 3 or 4 times a week and train. Then at that time we had competition. We'd go and do a weightlifting or powerlifting competition at least once a month. It was a good atmosphere. We go on a minibus, take a trip from Bath down to Gloucester or down to Plymouth.
In a group.
In a group. And you had powerlifting leagues, something that they don't really do now. I then joined the Royal Marine Commandos, spent 12 years in there. Served in Northern Ireland a couple of times, went down to the Falklands War when that started. And I was still training with weights, but I wasn't big. I was strong, but very, very fit and quite light. I then broke my spine and pelvis in 7 places, and when I left the Corps, I was told that in '89 I was told I'd be in a wheelchair by the year 2000. So I thought that training might be a bit difficult. But I went back, I did my own rehab, and opened this gym in 1996. So about 27 years now. Training with a fellow lifter called Johnny Kiss, and he was competing. He was a decent lifter. He lifted in European Championships, and he said, "Why don't you go and compete at the same competition?" So I did. Broke 2 or 3 British records at the time on the first competition I was in. I just hit 40, so I went back to competing and fucking loved it. And my biggest lifts, I squatted 462 kilos when I was 48, and that was equipped. Bench press 320 kilos when I was 53.
Wow.
And when I was 53, I also squatted 380 kilos raw.
It's incredible.
So I had a decent career. I've only stopped competing about 54, 55. I've ended up having 2 hip replacements and 2 knee replacements. So I'm still training. I'm still trying to ease myself back into it. If I can take it, I don't know. But training is a sort of thing that if you train for a long time, it never really leaves you. Train, you just don't feel yourself. Finding ways around injuries to do stuff. And you see a lot of people nowadays, they get injured, they stop training. Yeah. It's like an excuse not to do anything. But to my mind, you can get your body around most types of injuries, and you can sort of move yourself forward that way. Giving in and sitting on the sofa and doing nothing is definitely not the place to go.
So do you think it's related to the mind and the body connection?
Yeah, the mind is your strongest muscle. And you just have to, if you can't work out yourself how to do it, speak to someone that can work out how you should do it, and get them to help you. Different people, different things worry different people. I mean, there's a lot of lifters out there. Some lift big weights, some don't lift very big weights, but it's all about wanting to sort of, it's competition, it's trying to get better yourself. But if you think about getting under a weight and it's going to hurt you'll never lift that weight. That's part of your training. You have to be confident in how you train. Reasonably heavy weights is still something I want to do.
Do you feel that it keeps you alive in a sense?
I've been training since I was 13. It goes back, 30, 40, 50, nearly 50 years. So, 50 years, it goes back 50 years. So it's what you've always known. And I've always found that when things have gone wrong in life, or you've had nasty injuries, or things have happened, getting into the gym and doing what you know, and it helps realign your body, it helps realign your mind.
So it's definitely the connection of mind and body.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So what would you say about doctors who say like somebody's got depression or mental health? Do you think lifting weights can help with mental health?
When you train with weights, so when you do anything, go out for a decent walk, go out for a run. When you do that sort of thing, you're releasing a lot of endorphins in your body, and it's the endorphins that give you a feel-good factor. So that sort of thing helps a lot.
Just want to touch on the old and the new.
Yep.
What's the difference from training old school and what you see in the new? What is better basically? There's a lot of noise on social media, brings a lot of mental, confusion, a lot of...
The thing is, training is very basic. Training is effort and hard work. There's no magic pill, there's no magic potion, there's no magic exercise that suddenly gets you to grow or get stronger. You have to you have to be consistent and put the work and effort in. Unfortunately, nowadays, society is what I call a fast food society. They want everything yesterday. Compounds are your main, will always be your main base.
Food for muscle? Is there any miracle foods? What's your belief?
I think you have to eat well. You have to eat often. Not eat too much crap if you can help it. People are always asking for special diet, special this, special that. But everyone knows what they should and shouldn't put in their mouth. But they almost have to be accountable for someone.
What about protein? How important
I think
your beliefs?
protein is very important. Yeah. Just try various types of protein. I think protein. Some people say just eat normal food. Yes, you can do, but it's hard sometimes to get enough protein in when all you're doing is eating food. So I think protein drinks are a useful tool.
So once you understand the foundations of training and contracting your muscles and keeping your body as tight as you can, would you say it's okay when you add a little swing or your back on a deadlift,
a little bit of momentum to move the weight,
arches a little bit, so that you can? Because what I find is otherwise it's very hard to progress in that weight. You can stay on that weight forever doing perfect
That's what I'm saying. Push through that. Use your body to lift it a little bit towards the end of an exercise. Get a few more reps, and eventually you'll get a little bit stronger each time.
Yeah. So what would you say for people that want to come and try out your amazing gym that I love so much?
Come and try it.
Yeah.
Come and try it. You'll find the atmosphere is good. The people are friendly. They might not look it because they're big lumps, most of them, but they're friendly.
And what about for women?
Yeah.
Because I know it's a little bit.
Yes.
I have. It's taken me a long time.
You intimidate men at the men.
No, but
it can. Yes, it's a predominantly male society in a gym like this, but the women that train here want to actually train properly and can hold their own. I've got some amazingly strong girls. I've got some girls like you. You look great. You can see you're a bodybuilder. You train hard, and often you train better than a lot of the men that train here.
Thank you.
So if you're a new girl walking in the gym, I've had a couple who come in today and they're like, oh, it's a bit intimidating, and then another girl walks in and they're like, oh, you do get girls here. So once you get in here and do a training session, you realise that people aren't going to be all over you. You go to a fitness gym, the guys tend to be staring at you more. There's more cameras around taking photographs of themselves, trying to show off, trying to be clever, and you find that with a lot of females and the guys in a gym. Guys come, oh, you're doing that wrong. They often themselves haven't got. But in this sort of place, you tend not to get that anywhere near as much. So you can drop your weights, you can chuck chalk on the floor.
Well, you can have a good old scream, you can let off all your I love having a good old grunt in the gym. There's nothing you can't beat it. It's like just it's part of it.
So my life is pretty dominated by being in the gym. But for relaxation, I've got a couple of motorbikes. I like going out for a ride on the bikes, that sort of thing. Eating, watching films, and these two big fat old bulldogs, they spend probably 90% of their life with me. So that's really my
favourite film?
Favourite film?
We're getting into it now.
Interesting. The original Highlander.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just totally different.